Okay, this is probably the worst that it'll get. So we have our river water or overflow water going into the sewage here. But the problem is that you can see in my neighbor's yard, there is water coming up from the ground right there. And it's going into their yard in the side, but it's also coming around down and around here. It's pooling up into my yard over here, which in and of itself is an issue because we've got a lot of sitting water. You know, but as that water collects, comes around, pools up in there. It comes down to the side here and gathers. But the other thing that's weird about it gathering is usually it gathers around here from this side. But we're noticing that the water comes down through this pathway here in the yard. And then it is eroding away at the front yard. You could see where a lot more of the water starting from here has flooded over into this area. Now, probably not ideal for a French drain situation, but it's pushing all that stuff off there. Now that water will drain and eventually make its way down to that pipe there, but it also then comes back and collects here. Water that comes from that front. So those are I'm starting to see the major weaknesses of that problem area. Some of that water does drain down here, and I started noticing this a little earlier, but the water is coming out on the neighbor side, on this side over here. So you can see where the other part of the water is that I showed earlier. It splits in two, and a lot of the major water is coming down this way. So I'm pretty sure I can't do anything. Maybe talk to the neighbors about what that water situation is like. Yeah, like this is like wood of some sort that is no doubt washed off from someplace else. But on this side of the house, it definitely needs some sort of French drain. If I could get, let's see if that's where my line is, right? This line here. If I could get, the difficulty is that there's a French drain here, right? And so, yeah, looking to get a quote here. And you can see this root work has really did a number on my lawn, or what's left of it. And honestly, around here, I should probably put gravel around this bit to kind of like make sure this kind of thing doesn't happen. But yeah, looking to get a French drain or French gutter somewhere out here that'll lead to it being pushed off. Yeah, some sort of, yeah, number one, trying to drain the water that collects here. And going all the way out in the event of major storm. So maybe a lot of, I don't know, concrete or stone or something work that comes in. But yeah, it's draining from this corner primarily. draining from this corner primarily. And I see how the water is now adding to that. So let me actually go up here and show where the water is coming from primarily. So we can see it's springing up from the bottom here on the ground. This is where the water is pooling up from and making its way down, flooding at the neighbors and going around the side. But if we look inside, there seems to be like a hole here. And you can see where water underneath is also running, and that water is coming from up there and is definitely pooling in from the other side of the fence. And I'll go and get a video of the other side now. This is insane, not gonna lie. Sorry, in the neighbor's yard. But as you can see, it's not really, it's draining a little bit, but not a lot. So I don't know who we need to speak to about that, but yes.